Hello, welcome to Mommy and
Me.
Yes, this is our cooking series, which is going to introduce you guys how to bring their family back together into the kitchen so that we all can be helpful when it comes to making breakfast and dinner time, and it won't have to just be the adults. So, this will also help the adults be able to inform the youth, whether it's teenagers or kids, how to cook some of the family recipes, how to be sanitary in the kitchen, how to use your knives in the kitchen, and just how to be a little bit more helpful so that when it comes holiday time, everybody's in the kitchen rocking and rolling, okay? So, what are we doing today?
So first today we are making eggplant parmesan and then chicken parmesan.
Why are we doing two?
Because I'm a vegetarian and then the rest of my family are carnivores.
We are. Well, not all of them. So, my other daughter, she does have a gluten sensitivity, but she loves meat and she's vegetarian. So we are doing two different dishes. The eggplant parmesan will be standard breadcrumbs and standard flour, which she'll explain. And then we're going to do something different for the chicken parmesan, which will help out for those who are doing, well, for my youngest one who has a gluten sensitivity. All right, ready to get started?
Yes.
All right. All right, so I just took the chicken off of the bone. Once again, unfortunately, we are here during the coronavirus, and I could not find any chicken breast without the bone. So I had to actually debone the chicken breast in order for us to be able to do this demo for you. So now that I have all the chicken off of the bone and we have the chicken as if it was purchased as a chicken breast in the grocery store, we're ready to show you how to cut it so that we can do the chicken parmesan. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we have the chicken breast, and although you can actually do chicken parmesan with the regular chicken breast, I like to actually cut mine in half and a little bit thinner when it comes to feeding a large family. Okay, so if it is going to be something that we do have a chicken breast here, but we have these and we want to make it a little bit thinner so that we can it's a little easier to manage. So I'm going to start at the thick end of the chicken and we're going to bring it equal and come all the way through to the thin end of the chicken. So I'm just going forwards and backwards, making sure that I can still see my knife and it's not going too far down so that I'm not having too thin of a piece of chicken. Okay. And there you go. Nice and even. Okay. All right, so we ready to get started?
Yes.
All right. All right, so we're going to start off with our eggplant parmesan. So if you can go ahead and get the wet paper towels ready, and I'll get the cutting board and eggplant, we'll be ready to go.
Mommy, what do we use wet paper towel?
The wet paper towel reduces the friction between the cutting board and the table. So as you can see, without the wet paper towel, it is moving. So whenever I use my knife and I cut, then it may move. But once we put the wet paper towel down, it acts as a suction.
Okay.
All right, got it. And now it doesn't move. So now I have the eggplant and I'm going to start off with the end. I want to have your knife always goes tip down so that when you cut. So then my tip of my knife is going down, but I don't want to have really, really thin slices so that I want a little bit of thickness to it. Okay. You know how we have the thickness to the actual chicken that we cut? I want my eggplant to kind of be similar to that. I don't want really thin, flimsy pieces of eggplant. I also don't want it so thick that when you eat it, it's not already cooked already. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and cut eggplant just like that. All right? You got it? All right. Knife down, you jump in. Here are the actual pans. You can put it inside there when you're done. So stop for a second. I'm actually going to clear off your cutting board for you so you have more space.
Okay.
And you're good to go. And you're good to go.
So I use bear claw?
Bear claw. Yep. So you're going to hold the knife like that. That's a little bit thick. That's a little too thick. Come a little, yeah. And forwards and backwards and come all the way down. Exactly.
Okay. Why do I use a bear claw?
So that you won't cut your hands. So that your fingers, if you had your fingers straight out, you can cut the tip of your fingers off. So
I don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
Is this too thick?
No, but you see how you're cutting.
Oh,
you see
slanted?
how it's slanted. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn it around so we can try to make this even. Right? Okay. And we bear claw, tip, forward. Now just analyze. You see how now it's straight. You got to control your knife cut.
Okay.
There you go. So now it's straight. So try again. Just working on it. Just keep working on it. All right. Nice. Yep. There you go.
Okay.
Now clear. Now you see how you still have all this stuff there?
Mm-hmm.
Move the stuff out your way. Scoop
Okay.
it off. Yeah.
Oops.
You got a pan. Bam, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
One more again.
One more.
Be careful now. Look at how you. There you go.
Hold it up like this.
Now you can, or lay it down. Okay, and this is where you can actually cut it this way. You can hold onto it with your bare claw. You can see the thickness that you want.
Okay.
And now you're gonna come across, just like we did with the chicken.
Oh, okay.
And then finish it. Going there.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fine.
Try one more time with that one. Just be careful.
Oh, so right here.
Right.
Go across. Okay. Oh, and then come here.
Right. So you see that it's not going
And
to
then-
then.
Okay, and then. Oh, okay.
There you go. All right. So now we have the eggplant already cut. Just like with chicken, I'm going to season it, a little salt, pepper, before we actually go on to the next step. And this is where sous chef Sarai comes in. So I need you to explain the process of actually breading your eggplant and your chicken.
Okay. So first we're going to have our eggplant parmesan, and so right here we have our flour. Then we are going to crack some eggs. Then we have regular breadcrumbs, panko bread.
Girl, you messed that all up. That is not regular. That is the because we're doing it for the eggplant first. Why are we doing eggplant first?
Oh, yeah. So we are doing the eggplant first because we don't want to do any cross-contamination for the chicken. So we want to keep everything sanitary so we don't spread any germs. So we have our first egg here. Just going to crack around, and then I'm going to break in and separate.
And while she's cracking those eggs, I'm going to go ahead and get the pasta water going for our eggplant parmesan and our chicken parmesan.
So this is our second one. This one's cutting out pretty well. And
You gonna count every egg? Okay. While she's cracking the eggs, I have hot water boiling, and now I'm actually going to take some salt. I'm going to season my water, okay? So I'm going to actually have salt, put salt in the water, a little bit more. I want to season the water so that I won't have to over season the pasta at the end. I don't want bland pasta. So I want to have salt inside the water. I'm actually going to put some oil inside the water as well, which will help separate the pasta as it's cooking. And voila. Water's on boil. She's cracking open those eggs. Let me go ahead and get you a fork so that you can get that whisked up.
alright, and we are all done cracking these 4 eggs. We're going to go ahead and take all the 4 sides and hold it like this so I don't spread any germs. Thank you. And now I'm going to go wash my hands.
It's a little OCD, but you can use spaghetti pasta. You can use penne pasta. It all depends on what you want. The traditional would be thin spaghetti pasta, but you can use fettuccine. I'm using fettuccine. Use whatever you have on hand, pretty much.
So right now I have my eggs being scrambled. And do I need to add any salt into this?
You can, but you want to really monitor how much salt you're putting into the dish. We already have our eggplants salted. I seasoned those already, and then you're going to add some seasonings into your flour, right? What are you putting into the flour?
I'm going to put salt and garlic powder too.
Right, so I wouldn't add too much salt into the egg. You have enough.
Okay. So I'm just going to add a little small spoon. No? It's good?
Yes.
Spreading it in.
Alright, do some shakes into that for the
garlic powder. Sprinkle a little in.
That's good. Yep. Use that spoon to stir it up, and then we can go ahead and get started on the process.
Alright, and mixing it in. Spreading so we don't make a big mess like in the breadcrumbs. We also want to spread it in so we can get it all throughout so it can all be equal and you won't have too much saltiness in one spot. And I'm making a mess.
Alright. Let's go ahead and get your process. So as she assembles her 3-step process, which is AP flour, egg, and the breadcrumb. So you want to start off with the flour. You're going to coat the eggplant with the flour, and then we're going to dip it into the egg. And the egg helps the breadcrumb to stick to the process, and therefore gives a nice crust on your eggplant and for the chicken parmesan. So I'm gonna use this hand in the flour, which is dry. I'm gonna shake it off, and then I'm gonna use that hand for wet. Dip it in there. This hand is for dry. Press it on there a little bit so it sticks. And there you go. Okay? Once again, dry hand, wet hand.
Okay, spread it on there?
Yeah, all the way on because you're missing some spots.
Okay.
Tap it in.
And then it's over. Oh, it does work.
Yep, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
All right, so now the pasta is ready. It is al dente, which means to the tooth. It is cooked. I take this piece here, which means it's not mushy and it's not hard. Perfect. All right, so the pasta is done. I'm going to take olive oil, drizzle it on top of this a little bit, probably about a good 2 tablespoons worth of it. Toss that back together because now I don't want it to stick. You see that nice hot steam? All right, so I'm going to season. I'm seasoning up both sides of my chicken. All right, so I'm just having the black pepper. So some people like to add in their seasonal salt. You can, but it's not the traditional way of doing eggplant parmesan. It is an Italian dish, so just staying true to the game. Just salt and pepper. Just make sure that you're seasoning both sides of it. As you can see, I'm keeping one hand on my spices and one hand on the chicken. Please do not cross-contaminate by dipping your hand back, the hand with the chicken back into the pan so that you're having chicken salt. One hand on spice, one hand on seasoning. Did I say that right? One hand on chicken, one hand on spice. And we are ready to go. And we are back. We have reset the station for us to show you how to do the chicken parmesan. So we have 2 demos already done. So that you can see what the outcome looks like. But I'm going to let Sous Chef Sarai tell you exactly how we did it from the 3-step process. And what's the difference between the eggplant parmesan and the chicken parmesan?
So for the chicken parmesan, we're actually going to be using gluten-free flour and gluten-free breadcrumbs with my sister. So go ahead and get this going. Oh, so we already added also the Italian seasoning and the parmesan to the breadcrumb and mixed that up. And then we also did garlic and salt in here too. It's just the same as the eggplant parmesan. So I'm just going to take this. You can use a tongue instead of your hands also. So I'm just going to use this, and with the tongue you can actually mix it in with the eggs and the breadcrumb and flour too.
If you don't have gloves, use the tongs as if it's an extension of your hand so that you can actually bread it properly. Okay, I'm gonna shake off that excess flour. Yep, and then lay it on in there. Just make sure that only the tip of the tongue gets into the egg. You don't want to have too much breading all over the tongs. Okay. And hold it tight. There you go. We don't want to splash the egg everywhere. Hold it nice and tight. Tight, tight, tight. Tight, tight, tight.
And regrip.
Lay it in. Lay it in. Back into there. Get it in there. There. That nice coating. There we go. And let it drip a little bit, right? Because you don't want all that excess egg inside your breadcrumbs, so then you have these long strings of breaded egg. So now you're good to go.
Okay. There we go. Alright, now just move it over.
Shake it out a little bit. Shake that out. Right, flatten that out. There you go. Okay. Now what you also can do is you can use a Ziploc bag and put your breadcrumb inside there and just drop your chicken inside the Ziploc bag and shake it around. All processed. You have so many options to do if you don't have gloves or if you don't want to get your nails, if you don't want to get food inside your nails.
Alright, I think this is done. Okay. Come over here.
One second, let me grab that. You see how you missed it now? That spot doesn't have it on there? You have to be careful.
How I grab it?
Right. And you want to press it into it. Just like that. Take it, shake it out, and press it into it.
Okay.
Now, add that. So you're good to go. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do chiffonade and basil. Okay. So I have my fresh basil, you know, one of my favorite herbs. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick these up. If you can stir that up a little bit more.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm not gonna chiffonade it all at once. So I have, let's just get a couple of leaves, and we're not gonna do just 2 or 3 leaves, 2 or 3 leaves. So you're gonna take it, lay them down, or stack them up, however you wanna say it. Okay. And you have the big ones. What's up?
What chiffonade?
I'm showing you. A cut. It's a style of a cut. Okay. So I'm have it layered, and then I'm going to roll it. Okay. And I'm going to cut thinly.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You can come on the other side. Come around. All right. So you can see. All right. So I rolled it up. Slice it real thin. Using the rock the boat motion. Forward and back. So what you don't want to have is like really, really thick, big pieces in there. But I also don't want you to cut yourself. Okay. So you have your chiffonade right there.
So I'm rolling it up.
Yep.
Tip down.
Yep.
Careful a little. Then.
You don't have to go so fast. Go nice and slow until you get the hang of it.
Okay.
Nice.
Just thin it up.
Yep. That's good. Great job. You're good to go.
And then leave the stems out.
All right. Remember how we had those chicken bones that we had? So we can use stuff like this, all the ends and tips. If you're not going to put it into your dish, make sure you keep that to the side to use it for stock. If you're not going to use it for stock, it's okay. But I know I have my tips and my ends of my herbs for when I want to make my stock. Okay. All right. So right now we are ready. We have once again, pasta is ready, marinara is ready. The eggplant is breaded and the chicken is already breaded. 3-step process for both of them. Now we're going to go ahead and sear it off, get some color to it in the oil, and then we're going to throw it into the oven and finish it. So it's a little bit of a process. So we're going to take the long tongs. I have about a cup and a half of oil inside my pan. Nice and hot, not too high, or medium heat, not too high. All I want to do for this is just to get it to be a brown coating on the eggplant and on the chicken parmesan. I don't want it to actually crisp and cook inside there. You can cook it all the way. My bad, I'm looking at the camera so much. You can cook it all the way, but I don't want so much grease in my food. You know I want to cook all the pieces. So I'm going to start this process. Take here. You can hear it talking to you. Beautiful. In there. What's up? You see how it's cutting the pasta? Yeah. No, we're not going to turn it. That's good. It's already, you see how it's bubbling all around. We're going to turn it. I'm going to let it just go ahead and get a little color into it. I don't want to add any more. I don't want to crowd over the pan. I don't want to add any more right now. But just remember the order in which we put the actual breadcrumb. So this one's first. Right. You can pick it up a little bit and see. Sometimes you may have hot points a little bit in different areas of your pan. Sometimes your pan may be hotter at the top than at the bottom, depending on how wide, depending on the type of stove you have. So see that it kind of browns right around the edges.
That's a nice look. That looks nice and crisp on the edge.
Yeah. So the edges do get nice and crispy.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to turn this one over. A little bit because it's smaller. You see how it's flipping a little bit faster than the larger ones, right? See that nice brown color? So now I'm going to take this and we're going to flip it away from you. Flip it over, away from you.
Okay.
Right? So now I'm going to do the same thing for this one. This one's ready. Flip it away from me. Flip it away from me. All right? So now I have nice and crispy on both sides. I'm going to strip it, put it right in there. Right. I don't want to peel it too much. I don't want the breadness to come off of it. You know, I don't want to play around with it. Remember that this is, now hold on one second. What I do realize is that this handle is really kind of in an awkward position. So if you go down, that oil will splash up. So I'm going to move this handle around to this side. So go ahead and place them in, and then you can use this if needed. All right. Okay.
Trying to check this. It's not ready yet. And I think I'm going to use the breading on the sides to see if it's ready on the bottom. But none of them are really brown yet. So.
Right, brown on the edges, you mean? Don't pinch it so much because you need to have a nice grip so that thing doesn't fall back into the grease and plop back up and splash you. Okay. So go underneath that. As you turn it, when you turn it over, see it gets darker. Turn it over, so don't let it get too dark. Okay. All right, we're going to start in with our garlic bread. I love having garlic bread, fresh garlic bread with chicken parmesan or eggplant parmesan. So I have my French bread loaf. All right, and I have my bread knife. We already know that we cut up the parsley and we have the garlic and we have our butter. This is a stick of butter melted into the microwave, probably in like 1 minute, and we're gonna end up incorporating that together. So all I did was pretty much turn my knife on a bias. About 1 inch cut. And puppy out just like this. Alright, perfect amount. Don't throw that away. You can use it for croutons if you make them from scratch. If not, it's just great to dip into any type of soup. Don't throw that away. So now I have garlic. I have my melted butter. I have garlic. And I have my parsley. Mix that in. I'm actually going to add a little salt to that too. Some clover. A little pinch of salt inside that. Coming right around to it. Mix that in real nicely. And I'm going to let that soak in a little bit. Dab it so that butter can get all in there. You want to get the garlic out of the pastry brush and then just dab it in and get that butter. So the garlic will go to the bottom. So you just want to stir it up before you put it on there and brush it. Stir it and brush it in there and then dab it in there so it can get all the way down. And as you can see, this made quite a bit of garlic bread. You can feed up to 6 to 8 people with the chicken that we have and the eggplant and the garlic bread. So if you have leftovers, it's always great to have left. And there we go. All right.
Okay. So I'm going to do the chicken and sear the chicken. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to do it away from you. So I'm going to start right here and do it away like that.
So when she means do it away, she's putting it in the pan away from her. And we're not really like searing, we're just trying to get color onto the breadcrumb, onto the chicken so that it gets a nice color to it. Yep. You can take the other, there you go. And then you can hold it. Yep. So once again, why do we not put the handles?
So we don't hit anything, so if we're walking around, it doesn't fall.
Right, it keeps it out of your way, so it's safer. It's safer to keep the handles of the pan to the side. And now that you see the color on the bottom, you want to go ahead and, yeah, that's beautiful.
Look at how golden it is.
Ooh, all right. Yep.
All right, now I'm just going to turn it.
No. That's it a little bit. That's it a little bit. Get some love in there. Wow. Okay. So I'm actually going to move this out of the way. While she has that going, like any other kitchen, you're going to be doing more things than one at the same time. So I have the marinara going. Once again, I always make my marinara from scratch. I make a large amount of it and make it from scratch. But you can use canned marinara, and if you want to, if you don't like the flavor of it, you can enhance it with garlic powder. You can enhance it with a little bit of salt. You can add a little pesto to it, some fresh basil. So taste the marinara and enhance it to what you like. I always make mine from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and just start to add the sauce on top. Just a little bit, not too much, but you're obviously going to put marinara on actual pasta. Okay, so now that I have the marinara on top of that, grab this cheese. I have shredded mozzarella cheese, and now I'm going to come in for my basil, okay? So I have my shredded mozzarella cheese going right on top. And I'm also going to put a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top of that as well.
think the side of my pan is like interesting.
You said interesting.
Well, it's not like, it's not the same.
So
heat.
there's
Different heat. I gotta learn
distribution. It has a different heat distribution for some parts.
So are we supposed to add the Parmesan first or the mozzarella?
It don't matter. Just you're making it cheesy. That's all you're doing. Parmesan, mozzarella, Parmesan, mozzarella. Just putting it over.
All right, now this is ready. Flipping it over.
Right,
Wait for myself.
Nice. Good job.
That looks like a wing.
Because it is called chicken parmesan, eggplant parmesan. Yeah. Although we put the parmesan inside the breadcrumb as well, but we add it right on top of it too. And this mozzarella cheese just helps to make it really nice and cheesy. So now you can go ahead and start. So I'm sorry, let me stop. Because eggplant cooks faster than chicken, you have to put your chicken inside the oven that's a little longer, and then we'll put the marinara and the cheese on top of it. Okay. So you can go ahead and put the tongs up, the tongs right there, and we put that right inside the oven. We're going to put that in there for 10 minutes. So the reason why I do that, I put that in the oven first. Once again, the chicken isn't cooked all the way. It's just giving a little bit of color while it's in the pan. And I also don't want to have the cheese on it while it cooks the full length in the oven, because then you end up having like the really brown bubbly cheese. I like it to still look as if it is eggplant parmesan without having the cheese really dark brown on top of it. The eggplant is thinner and it cooks a little bit, and it does cook faster, and because it's smaller, it cooks faster in the pan. So now we can actually assemble this while that's cooking, and then we can, same thing with the actual garlic bread, we'll put that in at the same time while we're assembling the marinara on top of the chicken. Okay. So you have to kind of know your times and when you're doing multiple dishes at once. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna have you sprinkle the basil on top. Now in the kitchen, if you have time to lean, you got time to clean. All right, so stop leaning. Go ahead and take the basil and sprinkle it on top of there. Okay?
Doesn't need a lot, right?
No, yeah, just a little. Yeah. It won't have to be a long night. Get done real fast. All right, you ready to take the chicken out the oven?
Yes.
Let's get it going.
Get my oven in. The garlic bread is already in here. Just to start getting toasted. Coming around hot. And bring it right over here. All right. Go ahead and put this back.
So now we're going to start the same process again. We are going to do marinara, mozzarella, parmesan, basil. Getting it going. Remember, that pan is really hot, so you can't touch that pan. Okay?
So I do it like right.
A little bit. Okay, yes, you can scrape so you don't have so much excess dripping off of it, and then you just lace it down. There you go. And you can always add more sauce to it depending on what you like. It's up to you, because we're going to add sauce to the actual pasta anyway. So let me plate it up. A little bit closer to you. Keep it moving.
Add a little bit more.
Yeah, that one. I'm going to add some more to that one myself.
Okay, so then I'm going to add the Parmesan cheese on top. Sprinkle it on. Doesn't matter how much, however much cheese you like. And all right. And this is the big one. Now I'm going to add the mozzarella cheese onto it. Make it look nice and pretty.
Oh, I'm gonna need you to love that a little bit more. You being stingy. Yeah.
Okay. Add some more on. And then I'm going to add on the basil on top of these.
Were you done with this? You being stingy. Come on. Some cheese on that thing. You got a whole cup.
since she says add a lot of mozzarella, I'm gonna add a lot of mozz.
a lot of mozzarella. All right, so we'll go ahead and we're ready to put it in.
Okay. So let me open the oven. Yep. It's warm, so I'm fine with the heat. But you might need to use an oven mitt. Put this in here on the top. Sorry.
Sure.
Hold on. So we're just gonna put the Parmesan and chicken and the eggplant.
So she's added in the chicken inside of the oven. Now normally you are already doing one, chicken or eggplant. Because of the fact that my family is so versatile, then we have both of them in the oven. So now we have the eggplant, we have the chicken, and we also have the bread. All done. Now we can clean up. So the eggplant is going to be in there for probably just a couple more minutes. All we want to do is melt that cheese inside of there. And the same thing for the chicken. The chicken was already cooked for 10 minutes before. And now we're going to let it melt the cheese for probably about 3 or 4 more minutes just so that it can get nice and hot and nice and bubbly. Then we're going to put it with the pasta and plate it. All right, we're ready to plate up.
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and take out everything.
Alright, so are you ready to go?
Yes.
So I'll put the pasta on there. This is going to be for your wonderful eggplant, as you called it.
They get some tongs to take it out?
No. So you don't want to, because the tongs are going to mess up the presentation. So what you do need is a glove so you can hold it and pick this up, put it right on top.
Okay.
I'm sorry, oven glove. It's hot. It's hot. That's all I'm trying to say. It's hot.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I like this thing. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and sauce this pasta. Then this is for the chicken parmesan. Now you can do the same presentation as we did for the eggplant parmesan, but I actually like to do something a little bit different sometimes. So, all right, you ready?
Okay.
All right, it's all good. Yeah.
Chicken parmesan.
Mm-hmm. And place this down, and you want that curve to go right here with this curve. And they snip it. Yep. Nice. Now, next time, take your glove off so you can actually use both hands. But you did a great job. It's not far. So I'm laughing because it's so funny of how you operate. Like you got to put this down. You don't need to hold on to that anymore. So now we can go ahead and put the food onto the plate. You don't, work it. All right. Let's go here. Come on, honey. Let's make this thing sexy. Grab a piece of bread. Lace it on. Bon appetit. All right, so we are all done. Now we have actually done 2 parmesans. We have eggplant parmesan and we have chicken parmesan, all within one setting with our wonderful garlic bread. Yes. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop in and leave us a message. Would love to know what we want to know. What do we want to do for next time?
Well, yes. So if you want to know, drop in the comments of what you would like for next time. If you have any questions, and then after that, don't forget to tune in next time on Mommy
and Me. That was my style. That was mine.